Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and you guys know what's going on out here in the world. There's no need for me to mention it specifically, but a ton of people are without gyms. A lot of people can't really get out of their house as much. They're going to be forced to train at home. And here's the advice that I want to give people with some of this, because I'm having to work with my own coaching clients on this. Fortunately for me, some of my clients have home gyms, some do not. But at the very least, almost all of them have access to a few things at home. At least maybe a bench, some dumbbells, some bands. And so, what I would advise to people is that, yeah, it's a real good idea for you to find a way to keep your training up. And if you're watching a fitness channel or you follow YouTube fitness at all, odds are you take your training pretty seriously. And whether we believe gyms should be closed or not is largely irrelevant to the fact that gyms are closed. And we all have to get around that the best that we can because not everyone is fortunate enough to have accumulated a good quality home gym. I mean, I do. I have some clients who do. I know people out there who do. But I don't think that we represent the majority of lifters. And judging by the response in my comments and what I'm seeing even with my own clients, definitely seems to be the case. I would say a fourth of my clients have a remotely acceptable home gym. Everybody else is having to make do. And particularly, I think a lot of people don't understand leg work. Because I put up a workout the other day for what I gave to one of my clients who has access to a local park, and he has bands. Okay, that's everything he needs. He's got a park where he can do dips, chin-ups. He's got bands. And a lot of people, they grasp the upper body stuff, but because the whole calisthenics community doesn't seem to care about or understand leg strength, a lot of people don't understand what to do for their legs and things. So we can discuss some of that. And I may need to make some videos on that over the coming week, and I very well might do that because it might be necessary to get everyone to where they need to be. But for example, pistol squats are terrible. I won't endorse pistol squats, and I know plenty of good coaches out there who say, no, you shouldn't be doing pistol squats. And a lot of people will say, why? That's not the best thing you could be doing for your quads. There are other movement patterns that are way better. A pistol squat is a trick balancing act. Okay, it's something you do just to show off your balance with some strength. It is not a particularly good quad builder. And it doesn't matter that you're like, well, I can get a little more weight on there versus doing other things. Well, it doesn't matter. You're getting a little more weight, but look at the way that you're having to move to do it. Okay, you're putting yourself into bad movement patterns. And at the end of the day, even if you're doing 20 rep sets on something that are 20 reps to failure, that still hammer the quads, you're still getting a better growth response than something like the pistol squat, in which you tend to give out due to fatigue of different stabilizers. It puts your back into a terrible position that you're going to have to unlearn. So if you do a bunch of pistol squats, you're going to create movement patterns that are going to be a problem for you if you ever decide to do a real squat. And it'd be the same if you're at home, you're doing pistol squats or trying to do them, and assuming you don't get hurt. When you go to try to do a real squat, you're going to have problems. And I mean, look at some of the people we've seen out there who we've watched them do pistol squats and they try to get under a real barbell. And I'm not going to name names, but their squatting didn't look too good. And again, they're just like a total forward lean, like a taco. They're folding over like a taco because that's what they've learned to do on the pistol squat. Instead, you could be doing step-ups, okay? You can do step-ups on stairs if you have to. I mean, in a perfect world, you've all got a bench or a stool you can use. But you can do them on a flight of stairs. And I promise you, most of you have access to some stairs. Step-ups to failure on stairs will be tremendously better. Tremendously better. You can alternate legs on a bench, though. If you have dumbbells, even better, you can do weighted step-ups, even with light dumbbells. Even if you have a pair of 10-pound dumbbells and that's all you have, put them up on your shoulders and do step-ups. That fatigue will accumulate pretty quick. Unless you're a pretty strong person or you're also at a very light body weight, I think you're going to find even a 10-pound dumbbell in each hand doing sets of 20 on a step-up, it's going to be pretty fatiguing. I think it would do more than you think it will because we have to maintain our lower body mass because it's not just about the strength. We're going to lose strength. If you can't get to a gym for 3 weeks, your strength itself, the performance element, will decrease. But you need to be able to maintain your hypertrophy, because if you can maintain your muscle mass, guess what? The strength comes back very, very quickly. What we don't want is lean tissue loss. Step-ups. If you're fatigued after doing step-ups, you can do box squats onto your bench with body weight or with light dumbbells and still get a training response, because you've already really fatigued yourself with the step-ups. Because normally you would say, well, we can't get enough weight. Like in my case, I mean, like box squat 500 plus pounds. Dumbbells are not going to work. But the situation is, if you fatigued yourself with the step-ups and then you do the box squats, you're going to be a lot more tired. You're going to be struggling a lot more, and it's going to be more challenging to go ahead and do some with just some dumbbells. Now, people will say, is that ideal? I thought you're against pre-exhaustion. I am. But in this case, you don't have a choice. Right? We don't have a choice, do we? It's that or not squat at all. So things like dumbbells on their work. There might even be ways you could set up bands to do box squats. Something I'll experiment with and see if I can make it work and display it later, just to give some ideas. We've got to be able to work our posterior chain. What are our options? One-legged glute bridges. All right, one-legged glute bridges. Absolutely fantastic option. Do one-legged glute bridges with a dumbbell. What else can we do? We can do good mornings. Do good mornings against bands. Because if people say, well, I don't have bands. Well, if you tell me that you're a serious lifter and you follow my channel and you don't have bands, why not? Why don't you have bands? Call up Rogue or Elite FTS and get some decent bands in. Get them shipped to you overnight. Hopefully shipping's still running in wherever you are. Banded good mornings. I actually have one of my clients who has a disc herniation do these all the time. Okay? He does them all the time. Banded good mornings. What about light dumbbells? Couldn't you put some light dumbbells up on your shoulders? Couldn't you do good mornings with that? Sure we could. Is it ideal? No. But we can do sets of 20 and 30 reps. And here's the question I would ask. If you can't get to the gym and we can't deadlift and we can't hip hinge or any of that stuff, is doing a set of 30 sets of 30 on good mornings with a band better than nothing at all? Will it help you hold on to muscle tissue? Yes. And that's the whole point. We're trying to maintain our muscle tissue. Trying to maintain our muscle tissue the best that we can. And at a certain point, if all you have is lighter weights, all you have is bands, all you have is some light dumbbells and a bench, is doing sets of 50 going to preserve muscle better than doing nothing at all? Absolutely. I would venture to say that a lot of you out there, unless you are really, really jacked, if you're stuck at home for 3 weeks with nothing but some 25-pound dumbbells, a bench, and a set of bands, I think you could maintain 100% of your muscle tissue if you're careful with the way that you structure it. Okay? If you're careful with the way you structure everything, you could keep all of your gains for 3 weeks. A very advanced lifter could start running into problems quickly, but most of you would be okay. It would certainly be better than nothing. You'll be able to maintain your gains. And it'll also help with your mental health, because look guys, if you're kind of stuck indoors a bit, maybe some of you aren't working, maybe you're not able to get out as much, or it's because some cities are locking down and people talking about curfews and everything else. Just to help with the depression aspect of it, because especially if you're used to training and you can't get to a gym to train, you're going to have depression and things set in. It's going to be problematic. In fact, a coach friend of mine had said since her gym is closed and she can't work, she only has minimal stuff at home, she doesn't even feel like training, and she's semi-depressed. I'm like, no, you don't need to do that. You need to train. You need to train. Even if it's just with bands, even if it's just with some light dumbbells. You need to get in and do something. And again, even though 30, 40, 50 rep sets are not ideal, they'll help retain muscle. Now, some people will say, well, Jason, there are studies showing. Yeah, okay, guys, those studies are not as conclusive as you think they are. There's problems with some of those studies that have come into debate, especially if you're training exclusively like that with nothing else. That's a point of contention in the literature that some researchers heavily question. But can it prevent muscle loss? Can it prevent detraining? Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a hell of a lot better than nothing. Even if we could argue about all that literature, it's better than nothing. It'll help preserve your muscle tissue. It'll help you keep your gains. It will help you keep your sanity, stave off depression. It'll make you feel better. Right? So we need to get in and do it. It needs to happen. And that's my advice to people. And maybe I'll do some tutorials and stuff and see if we can figure some of this out. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.